What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Tamar Braxton Get Your Life Season 1, Episode 5. I believe, thankfully, this train wreck ends next week. Okay. So, this episode is all about David's party. Remember I told you guys I thought this might be the climax of the season. So, it's not quite the conclusion, I should say. It's not quite the conclusion, but damn near, okay? Tamar is getting everything ready, and the house looks nice. The decorations look nice. She's got like different themes going on. She's got the little casino thing working. She's has one whole floor. It's just Nigerian food, Nigerian music. Like it's just that one area, I guess, of the house. Whatever. It's just connected to the Nigerian experience. And then she's got the house. It just looks nice. Her people are helping her. Her assistant, her makeup artist. They doing their thug thizzle, okay? Now, she has invited her family, but she don't expect anybody to show up. And I'm glad she didn't expect nobody to show up because she wasn't disappointed because didn't nobody show up, child. Well, nobody there but her and Logan, okay? Now, we see David. He's flying all his family in from Nigeria. I ain't mad at you, David. Do what you do, boo. And we see him talking to his sister. And they're having this whole... And the conversation was so scripted. I don't know if it was David's script or the producer's script, okay? But it was clearly a conversation that they specifically wanted on tape. It was about family and how Tamar and her family are just so different the way they are, and how, in Nigeria and African culture, when you marry the whole family, and it's just not like that here. And the fact that her and her family just aren't close, it's just concerning, and it's off-putting, and it's this and it's that. And then he said, yeah, because if you guys didn't like Tamar, that would be a really big dilemma for me. I don't know how we would ever be able to handle that. They don't like her. They tolerating her, but they don't like her. But anyway, child. So then David is talking about how it's the first time he's had a party since he was like 7, and how Tamar really had to convince him, and he finally agreed to it a couple of weeks ago, but he's really excited now, and he's really looking forward to what she's putting together. And so, cool. Then we see Goldie talking to the producers. They got her in hair and makeup because she is going to the party. Now, let's talk. We're going to talk about this from two different angles. We're going to talk about this from a show angle, and then we're going to talk about this from a real angle. From a show angle, let's start with the real angle. Goldie, you ain't had no damn reason to be at that party. None. You and David don't rock with each other. You don't like him, he don't like you, and he has made it clear how he feels about you. This is his party. It's not Tamar's party and he's going to be there and you're going to deal with him. This is his party. All about him for his 50th, a milestone birthday. I don't give a good damn if Tamar wanted you to be there or not, and Tamar invited you. Clearly, listen, do you know how many times people get invited to stuff and they tastefully and respectfully decline the offer? You ain't got to go just because she invited you. I'm only going because Tamar wants me there. No, you don't need to be there. And you don't need to be there to do your work. Like, let's be clear. Let's just call a thing a thing. At this point, you have figured out what Tamar is, what the situation is. You have peeped game. You know what David and who David is about. Like, you get it. You know. And as far as her dream interpretation, you done broke them things down. Now, whether Tamar, we'll get to that, the dream thing later. But whether Tamar wants to accept what you done figured out or not, it don't matter. Tamar has figured it out, okay? You figured it out. It was David's birthday party. David don't like you. You was wrong as 2 left feet for being at that party. Period. Like, there's no reason. Now, that's from a real world point of view. In a real world point of view, you had no reason whatsoever for being at that party. That's just the real world, right? Now, let's talk about the TV show. Clearly, it is a produced situation. Clearly, they are building up this whole Goldie versus David drama and tension. So clearly, a lot of this is about creating a moment. What's going to happen if Goldie's at David's party? What's David going to do when he sees Goldie at his birthday party? Like, I get that. But from a real world perspective, girl, you was wrong for bringing your ass in that party. Then, even if it's a TV show, you go through, you say hi, you say happy birthday to David, and you walk your happy ass right on out that back door. You get you a plate and you go to hell home. That's what you do. Okay? Now, me being the greedy person that I am, I would have waited until, they cut the cake. Okay? Because I like birthday cake. The food, whatever, but the birthday cake, here for. Okay? But neither here nor there. Girl, you shouldn't have been there. You ain't had no reason to be there. Anyway. So, we're going to get back to Miss Goldie and this party. So, it's a 1920s theme and all that is good. David shows up in his little white suit, honey. He's looking nice. I ain't going to say, listen, David's a nice looking guy, okay? I ain't got to like the personality, but he's a nice looking guy. He was there. He was looking good. Boy, his mama looking good. Very regal. Party looked nice, like I said. Tamar getting herself together. She comes out and she's got on the black dress that we saw her try on with the feathers, and they did close up the sides a little bit so it's not as, revealing or what have you. She comes out the room. David gonna tell her she looked like Della Reese. Well, first he said something about her age. Then he had to clean that up. And then he said, you look like the lady from the movie, the movie Harlem Nights. And she said, Della Reese? He said, yeah, Della Reese. Now listen. There were other options. Okay? You had Jasmine Guy was in Harlem Nights. Layla Rashawn, Miss Sunshine herself, was in Harlem Nights. David, you had jokes. You did that shit on purpose. You called that girl. Knowing good and well that Tamar was going to react to that. And it's not because Della Reese wasn't a beautiful woman. It's that how Tamar rolls. Tamar don't want to be seen as fat or anything other than perfect. Especially, and it's not just a Tamar thing either. On a night like that, you want everything to be perfect. You want everything to be nice. You want everything, and you want to look perfect and look nice. And Tamar had already made mention of her picking up weight. So I know that's a conversation that they had about her picking up weight. I don't know, y'all. That whole maybe I'm reading too deep into the Della Reese thing. Maybe he really just couldn't think of nobody else, and he was talking more about the period piece. But in my mind, I just feel like it was more to it. But okay, whatever. So then, so then we see David have a conversation with his uncle. Now, his uncle is his brother-in-law, his sister's husband. Now, he is a pastor. So, of course, they talk about this whole witchcraft DreamWorks bull again. And he starts quoting Leviticus. And he starts talking about the spirits and stuff. And, when he's quoting Leviticus, and he actually used a quote, I was like, okay. But this is what I have learned, especially being somebody who teaches history. The Bible has been used to justify every atrocity in this world from the beginning of the Bible. You can find a verse, chapter and verse in the Bible to justify whatever it is that you want to do, whether it be good or bad. Okay, let's not forget that is the same Bible that justified slavery. That is the same Bible that they use to justify Jim Crow. That is the same Bible that they use to justify LGBTQ discrimination. So, and that's just me talking off the top of my head in modern times. I'm sure if I had time to sit down and go through it, we could talk about, they use the Bible to justify women being subservient to their men and staying in the house and being barefoot and pregnant. When things are taken out of context, they're always being used. It's always been used as a weapon. Religion and spirituality and the Bible, okay? So, yes, that's great that you found a quote, and I was like, yeah, that is kind of connected. But then, again, you only know what David is telling you. You don't know really what it is, because you ain't talked to nobody about it. But whatever. He told David point blank, it's the devil. It's witchcraft, and it's from the devil, and he don't need to have no parts of it. Which is all David wanted to hear anyway to justify what he wanted. Because, again, I ain't see you confessing to your brother-in-law that you and Tamar be having premarital sex and get his opinion on that. I ain't see you confessing to your brother-in-law, well, you know there's going to be alcohol at this party tonight. Is that okay? How you feel about that? I ain't see you confessing to your brother-in-law about, oh, it might be some crab meat up there or some shrimp up there. The Bible says something. Yeah, like, I don't, like, stop it. Stop it. We find a way to be worried about the things we want to be worried about. Anyway, moving on. Before I go too far down that road, then y'all be all in my comments, whatever. And so David saw Goldie was there, but David didn't. He ain't trip off of Goldie being there. What he decided to do was, I'm gonna play passive aggressive with Goldie, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna. First of all, I'm going to ignore her. And then when I do choose to pay attention to her, I'm going to embarrass her. So he's introducing Goldie to his friends and talking about how important she is and how great she is. And she does, oh, what is it that you do? All you had to say was, this is an Associated Tamar's. You ain't have to go no deeper than that. Because first of all, them people don't care. It's just like anything else at a party. You introduce the people, you're polite, and you move on. Like, ain't nobody about to get your life story. Oh, hey, I want you to meet Goldie. She's she's an associate of Tamar's, and keep it moving. But you made a conscious decision to embarrass that woman. A conscious decision, and Goldie's reaction was to get drunk instead of leaving, which makes me think that either production made her stay at that party and told her she could not leave, and so her way of dealing with that was, well, if I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna stay by the bar. And we saw her, and she got shit-faced drunk to the point where she fell down on the dance floor. Honey, she tried to say David did it. It was David's eyes piercing into her soul. Girl, no, it was you getting drunk, wasted. It was that sloppy, not cute drunk. Because, like I said, she fell down on the dance floor and she's sloshing and she was drunk as hell. So Tamar went to go talk to the producers about it, and they started having a conversation about Goldie and her not being comfortable, and the fact that she was wasted, and this, that, and the other, and David, and this, and this. And then David walks up and he wants to know what y'all doing back here. Like, why y'all can't like, why are you back here? Like, you being rude to the guests. Like, we have guests outside waiting for us. And Tamar was like, okay, I'm hot. I mean, she was trying to, she was basically saying, listen, give me a minute. Like, bruh, give me a minute. But it's like David didn't want her to talk to the producer, and he was pressing her out. So then they finally ended up leaving. So then Tamar's in the back, and she's eating, and he talking about something, are you drunk? I mean, how much have you had to drink? And Tamar was like, don't be counting my drinks. She was like, I had 2 glasses of champagne. Don't be counting my drinks. Girl, he's going to say 3. Like, in the middle of a party that's all about you paying that much attention to Tamar that you knew how many drinks she had? Boy, bye. So then Tamar went off again, and she was like, listen, I just need 30 minutes. Like, give me 30 minutes. Now, y'all know when y'all are throwing a party, especially a party like this, Tamar had probably been running all day. They showed her people coming, because she had the party at her house. So she had people in and out her house all day long, making sure that people put stuff in the right place, making sure that everything was there. Did the cake come? Are the balloons here? Did the decorations come? Did the people bring the chairs? Did the people take those chairs away? Are we going to roll this carpet back? Like, come on, David. Like, she could have had 30 minutes to just decompress. And he was really like, no, this is rude. This is rude. This is rude. We have guests. No, you have guests. This is your party. I did this for you. If I go in my room and lay down with Logan for the rest of the night, you shouldn't be tripping off of it, because this is your party. It is about you. This is your family. These are your friends. Look, my family didn't even come. Not even Tony, who lived down the street. She didn't even come, okay? So, chill out. Go gamble at the roulette table. Go get you a drink from the bar. Like, stop. So then finally Tamar was like, okay, well, let me go change my clothes, because of course she had a costume change, honey. They go in the bedroom. Now, David did something cute in his confessional, which, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it gave me the impression that, some things went down when they was changing the clothes. I don't know. He did this little wicked little laugh. And I was just like, So it was cool to take a break when it benefited you. Anyway, Tamar comes out and her change of clothes, whatever. The rest of the night seems to go pretty well. Everybody's happy. They're dancing. It's good. It's cool. It's whatever. Boom. But again, it just shows like she can't just be by herself for 5 minutes and relax at a party that she put on for you. Like, go sit down somewhere. So then the next thing we see Tamar and Goldie the next day, or 2 or 3 days later, or whatever, sitting down and going through her dreams again, and they're interpreting the Ellen dream again, and she's got her friends acting out the different people parts. And I'm not about to sit here and go through this whole dream interpretation. Make a long story short, Goldie told Tamar that Ellen represents, I think, David and the control in her life, and how David is the blah 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 blah. Basically, translation: David bad, get away from him. Like, I'm not breaking that whole thing down. It's not that deep. But the important part is, David come home and he want to talk to Goldie, honey. He said, I'm ready to talk to Goldie again about the dream work. And Goldie, Tamar, and David go into the room. They take their mics off and they are in there arguing. And all you hear is David talking about something. You are not going to separate me from my family. You are not going to keep me away from my family. And then you have Tamar. You have Goldie yelling, talking about some David, screw you. Well, she wasn't saying screw you though. She was saying more screw you. But David, screw you, and you get out of my face and don't talk to me like that. And you ain't never, don't you talk to me like that. And and then you start hearing Tamar screaming, David, no, David, stop. And you hearing furniture moving around and you hear things going on. And I'm thinking, what is happening here? Now, we don't know what's happening because the door's closed and all the screamers coming from behind the door. Finally, the producers, after they sit there arguing about whether they should go in there or not, they finally go in the room and break up whatever's going on in the room. And honey, Goldie is on the outside talking about she is done. It is a wrap. She will not be disrespected. She will not be talked to that way. She will not be treated that way. And she's done. She's leaving. She's never coming back. She quit. It is over. It is a wrap. And, Tamar's, I think his makeup artist was talking to her, and she was like, well, what do you think, what do you think Tamar's going to say? And she was like, listen, Tamar's going to stay with the man, because that's what they do. As women, that's what we do. We stick with our man. She said, I don't expect, she said, Tamar knows. She's not ready to accept, and I understand it. And until she's ready to accept it, she's going to stay with David. And so I know where my place is. Like, I'm out. Baby, I don't know what happened in that room. All David was talking about was that, well, things did get a little heated, and he don't understand why Goldie was acting like that. He just wanted to talk to her. They didn't interview Tamar at all, which makes me think that Tamar chose to not be interviewed, because we didn't see, Tamar didn't speak about it. She was the only other person in the room, but which leads me to believe that David did some shit that she just didn't want to speak badly about on camera. That's what it leads me to believe, because if Goldie was the aggressor or Goldie was out of line, I feel like she would have been more comfortable speaking on that than saying David was in there tripping. I don't know, y'all, but next week is the last episode, thank God. This show, listen, I agree with Tamar. This show should never. They really could have made this a 2-hour episode, like a one-time event, and gone through this whole thing. But I get it. They're a network. They're trying to create a show. They're making their money. I ain't mad. They did what they did. But I do understand why. I understand why David ain't want this to be seen. I understand why Tamar ain't want it to be seen. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.